Two questions tonight. Arrest Raja, and secondly, could the Prime Minister have done more and earlier? With us tonight, Subramaniam Swamy is the man in the news. He's the person whose petition actually made the Supreme Court issue those observations against the Prime Minister. Dr. Swamy, welcome. Siddharth Nath Singh of the BJP, Aryaman Sundaram, senior lawyer of the Supreme Court, and Tom Vadakan of the Congress Party. The Congress Party says that this is not really, sources are telling us from the Congress Party that this is not really such a big matter, Dr. Swamy. They're saying the court makes observations all the time. This is not an indictment. This does not amount to what it is being made out to be. You know that Dr. Subramaniam Swamy is reading too much into what the court has said. I want your take on it first, Dr. Swamy.
First of all, I have not read anything into what the court has said. I only wanted permission to prosecute Raja. Now I have got clearance from the court that I don't need permission from the Prime Minister. I can go now because he's become an ex-minister. Therefore, I can now go straight to the court and I will prosecute him. I think that's what is the most important thing. People have to be brought to the book. We all know what happened, and we have known for quite some time. I have known since 2008 what has now come out in the CAG report. So therefore,
what are you alleging? What are you alleging? What are you alleging?
I am alleging that Raja is not alone in this loot. There are lots of important people in it, and they all have to be brought to book, and we need international cooperation in this.
But don't be generic, Dr. Swamy. It's not in your nature. Be specific. Who are you talking about?
You want me to name names?
No, I'm asking you that what are you really alleging? You are saying very broadly there are others in the loop. What are you alleging specifically?
I'm alleging that very powerful people are sharers in this loot, and in fact Raja got only 10% of the loot. And if you want me to name names, I'm ready to name names. It will embarrass you.
Tom Vadakan, you hear that? The issues become bigger tonight, Tom Vadakan. The question tonight is not just about action against Raja, but the inaction and the silence of the Prime Minister.
Arnab, the Indian National Congress is not here for a discussion or a running commentary on what is happening in the court. Let the court do its job. Let them come out with a verdict. What has happened here is certain observations have come in. At this point of time, we are not in the game of running a running commentary on... there has been various things mentioned in the court today. In fact, the court said we should go on facts and not on interpretation. There was something about the media. There were a lot of things. I don't really want to go into all that. This is not my job to give an interpretation to any issue. Honorable Subramaniam Swamy has been the law minister of this country. I don't know whether he would accept that kind of an attitude. The Honorable Supreme Court is seized of the matter. Let the decision come. We'll wait for it. We honor the court. We respect it. Let whatever come, we will take it. We'll take it and
Tom
welcome whatever the situation comes.
Tom, you don't think, Tom, that a relevant question has been asked? I'm actually going to get Siddharth Nath Singh. You don't think it's a relevant question which is being asked, that there has been inaction in terms of the competent authority not either clearing, neither saying yes or no to the whole question of prosecuting Raja? That inaction does not
really can't react.
Arnab,
whom are you
I
asking
think
this question?
On your channel...
Okay, Siddharth Nath Singh is coming in quickly. Go ahead.
Arnab, few days back on your channel, I had flashed a letter which was written by the Prime Minister on 3rd of January to A. Raja, acknowledging A. Raja's letter of 26 December 2007, giving a detailed explanation of his actions and why he is doing, and talking about dual technology, first come, first serve, all those things he had mentioned, and also the meetings with Gopal Subramaniam and Pranab Mukherjee. The Prime Minister was seized of the matter as of 3rd January 2008 by his letter dated to A. Raja. The Prime Minister refused to act, and I think that is what is most important, that there was a person who went with the loot, but there is a person who allowed the loot to happen when constitutional authority lies with him to use all the powers and authorities he has under his command to stop it. That did not happen. and that is what the nation is asking, and that is what the Supreme Court has commented today, that it is the inefficiency and not the inability of the Prime Minister to stop what he could have done. That is what he needs to ponder, he needs to introspect and come up with an answer to the nation.
So that's the question, Aryaman Sundaram. I want to draw you into this debate. The question is of inaction, and what has the court said? The court effectively said that it should not take more than 3 months to decide whether or not you're giving an okay to prosecution. The focus therefore has been on
Arnab, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, go on.
Arnab, you're absolutely correct. In fact, let me say, just listening to these accusations being hurled from one side to another, some of it based in facts, some of it based in speculation, some a bit of both, brings to light something even more important. It all brings to light the slow progress of any kind of investigation, anything which has been done, the inaction. Let me just give you an example. There are two clear aspects of this matter. It is a huge scam involving more than 1 lakh crores. Now, the fact of the matter is there must either be a systemic flaw, if Mr. Raja is to be believed and he said, I followed exactly what Try said, or there are a lot of loopholes either deliberately made or available and found out. Now, these systemic flaws have to be gone into by a committee, not the Public Accounts Committee, whose job it's not. There has to be a special committee to go into these aspects, to find out how did all these flaws arise, were they deliberately created, what were the procedures good enough, were the procedures, if they were already there, not followed. On the second hand, you have the other aspect, in that here is a situation where if something has gone wrong, and today there are strong needles of suspicion, an accused or a suspicious person must be brought to book. And that's where the investigative agency comes in, whose job it is
but my question
to
to
immediately
Mr.
act
Sundaram
on the
is,
suspicion
Mr.
to
Sundaram,
interrogate.
Mr. Sundaram, I completely take your point of view. Some people say it's rubbish because it's not the procedure. Others will say it's rubbish because no member of the PAC is a specialist to know what really went right or wrong in this case. My question to you is about whether the Prime Minister should be held culpable. The charge which the BJP is making here today. When in the same CAG report, I have a copy where it is said at several points of time, here was one man who was disregarding everyone. What is the bigger question tonight? The fact that this man was disregarding everyone, or the fact that he was allowed to be disregarded? No, what's the bigger question?
Arnab, I think it is very clear today.
Arnab, the CAG
it is very clear today that you use the expression, should the Prime Minister be held culpable? I think it is not a situation to hold anybody culpable at all. On the contrary, there is a very strong needle of suspicion at a given person. And that person should be, why is that person still not being interrogated in the manner he should be?
Precisely.
In any small matter, in anything where there's a suspicion, there is immediate action, the person is arrested, the person is interrogated. Why is it here, every needle of suspicion by as august a body as the CAG points to somebody, has raised enough suspicions on which if it was a small chap who had taken a loaf of bread, he would have been arrested and questioned on it. Why is it that there is so much silence in that respect?
Well,
if there is any culpability of the Prime Minister, it is only because of this coalition politics in perhaps not encouraging the process to take its natural course.
So what is the level to which this coalition politics is relevant? Tom Vadakan, this is completely looking like an eyewash right now. Let me quote the CAG report. You have faith in the CAG report says the fact that there has been a loss to the National Exchequer cannot be denied. There is a need to fix responsibility and enforce accountability for the lapses highlighted in the audit report.
That an opinion has been formed on the Prime Minister, I cannot change your views.
My question is not on the Prime Minister, it is on Raja.
The larger issue is about the prosecution
of Raja,
which has been taken by Honorable Mr. Swamy. Now the issue is not what you are trying to put out. This is an observation that they have said, but there are various other observations that the Honorable Court has made. Those observations are not being put on record.
Tonight.
Observation number one was to keep on to facts and not go on interpretation.
Mr.
The Honorable Court had said this. This is a clear and blatant attempt to spoil the image of the Prime Minister, who has been a clean Prime Minister. No denial about it. The question is, can
I do not think anybody is doubting that. Why the inaction is what people are asking.
Here to spoil the image of the Prime Minister, which is absolutely wrong and incorrect.
You're not listening to the question.
Mr. Swamy is here raising an issue in the court, a constitutional issue. That is the larger
Mr.
issue.
Vadakkan,
Why
you are not...
are you missing that issue?
Mr. Vadakkan, you are unfortunately not listening to the question. The question has been raised not by me, it's been raised by Aryaman Sundaram, and I want you to answer that question directly, or I'll make Mr. Sundaram repeat it. Here is an impression this man got away in the past. Now this man is getting away again. You have Parliament being stopped, you have the CAG report which is out, you have a team of honest bureaucrats who have put out this report. This man just takes a flight to Chennai and walks away, and tomorrow he'll make a political issue out of it. There's not one bit of action that is there against Raja. There was inaction in the past on 2G spectrum. Now there is no action on Raja.
There is a procedure. The CAG has to be a constitutional requirement of the CAG report to be sent to the PAC.
Sir,
do you trust Mr.
I'm
Murli
sorry,
Manohar
that is
Joshi?
not required for
I'm
the purpose
addressing
of a
this
criminal
question.
investigation.
Do you
Tom
trust
is
him or not?
unnecessarily mixing up
Do
the
you
issues.
think he's capable
The
of
PAC's
handling this?
mandate
Or do you
is
think he's
limited.
incompetent
The
also
JPC
to
has
handle
a
it?
That is
larger
Why
mandate
don't
one
you
at
answer
a
that
time,
question?
Jay.
As a nation,
Someone-
that
all
Mr.
those things are there.
Joshi
One
is
at a
not
time.
competent.
One
Why
at a
don't
time.
you say that?
one at a time. Gentlemen, I'm asking a question. I'm not a qualified lawyer. My question is, do you need, one second, Siddharth and Aryaman can take this question. Do you tonight need any permission, sanction for prosecution to prosecute Mr. Raja? You don't. He's an ex-minister.
No, you do not.
He's an ex-minister.
You certainly do not.
So you do not. But there's no action against him yet. So what's holding the government back? What's holding the government back?
Arnab, may I clarify something on what this PAC
Arnab.
is? We keep talking about PAC. PAC is a Public Accounts Committee whose only job is to see whether the appropriation accounts are correct. The accounts are placed before them on governmental expenditure to see whether those have been done correctly or not. This CAG report, which usually comes up and gives out these accounts, has shown a scam. A scam is not something which a PAC looks into. It really looks into seeing whether appropriation accounts are correct or not. This is something, a totally different issue. And to imagine that PAC should first look on it before there can be a prosecution by the investigative authority is totally wrong. Totally wrong.
Now I've come to
I
Siddharth.
think I need to take that answer that question.
Let me add
This
something
is
on
the
the
whole
coalition
disinformation
alliance.
campaign that is run.
Dharma.
The CAG has
Siddharth,
to be
let Tom
submitted to
complete.
the PAC. That is the proper procedure. If that is not done, you send it to the JPC. That's not the procedure. There is an investigation
Sir?
going on by the CBI, which is being supervised by the CBC.
no,
Let there be a proper procedure.
My question to Subramaniam Swamy is, Siddharth,
the
I'm
man
coming
is
to you.
in town. He is not run away.
No, my question to Subramaniam Swamy is, Siddharth, I'm coming to you after that. Subramaniam Swamy, if the only road available is a PAC, if that's the only road available for the BJP and the only road available for the opposition is a JPC, then what are you demanding?
I am not demanding anything. I am going to go to court. This is what I wanted, my right to go to the court. And now I've got that right. And I'll go and file a case. I don't need all this sideshows like JPCs and PACs.
And do you think independently any citizen like you can go file a case and on the basis of the available evidence, can punitive action, prosecution be conducted against Mr. Raja?
I have done it. I have done it with Ramkrishna Hegde. I have done it with other politicians. This is not the first time that I have taken up a corruption case and brought it to a finality. The question is that in this particular case, it is the most gigantic corruption in the history of the world, not only the history of India. And there are so many people involved, so many powerful people involved. It is going to take step by step. First, we'll have to get Mr. Raja, and then we'll have to find out who else shared the loot. And we know who they are, and we need the cooperation of other countries to see that the money trail and the bank transfers are documented so that we can prosecute them also.
Okay, Siddharth Nath Singh, have you read the CAG report, sir? Or are you being too harsh on the Prime Minister? Have you read?
No, it's, you see,
I want to invite your attention to a part of the CAG report.
There is a CAG report, just doesn't speak about indictment of Raja. He talks about there are various ministries who had written. He talks about the law ministry asking for a EGM and Raja refuses it. It talks about the responsibility of the Council of Ministers of collective responsibility. Now, when all this has been spoken about and the Prime Minister keeps quiet and he doesn't take an action, it doesn't refer to him, and he is seized of the matter, and there is inaction. What more do you want to speak about it? Now the loot has been taken place, but the loot could have been stopped. Now that's the big question we all are asking.